it's me, Tammy B, and this is my review for The Haves and the Have-Nots. So we are season 4, episode 5, titled Immunity. All right, you guys, so we know everybody all up in the jailhouse, so let's see who gets this immunity, right? So anyway, we start off where we left off last week, where Benny busted his way into Candace's house, right? So now Benny want to act all hood and hard, gonna come through like he know how to handle hood things all of a sudden, because we know that Benny been blowing it on his hood tees lately. So he come all in the house, see Q all laying down bloody and dead. So he trying to ask Candace who, what, when, where, why, how. And so what? And I'm like, oh, so now you want to ask questions like you know how to hide a dead body. Because even when you tried to kill Q yourself, it was the dumbest plan ever. Hence the fact that it didn't work. But I was like, all right, Benny, maybe you gonna redeem yourself. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so Candace kind of told him the story, like, hey, Q found out where I live, so me and Jeffrey stabbed him. And he was like, all right, I'll take care of the dead body. Don't worry about the nosy neighbor. And you go ahead and find Jeffrey and make sure he ain't out snitching. So that's the plan. So back to the jail cell, y'all. Jim keeps calling Veronica the B word over and over and over again. And finally, David had it. I was like, come on, David. And I can't even remember what he was saying, really. But Jim said something. And David was like, all right, I said that's enough. Or I told you to stop. So then Jim and David start fighting, and I was just so happy. I don't know why Jim getting beat up is so funny. When Q beat him up, I was rolling. So this time, even though David, man, I've been waiting you to throw balls on Jim, and it didn't look like you could fight, David. Like, I don't know, when the guards was holding you back, it kind of looked like you wanted to be held back. So I was like, oh man, David. But anyway, y'all. So the guards come in, break up the fight, and then the DA walks in, and, you know, she hears the fight or whatever. So she was like, so Jim was like, say she not a bitch, or whatever. And David was like, I told you. So then the DA like, oh, go ahead and pipe down, guys. And David, you can't be mad for saying the truth. And I was just like, okay, yes, it's the truth. But I don't know, I'm starting not to like Lisa McDowell no more. So anyway, Lisa McDowell was like, oh, David, you getting out? So Jim like, oh, what, did you get a deal? And he was like, no. So then Catherine was like, when is the rest of us getting out? And the DA gonna say something smart or whatever. And then Catherine got smart with the DA. She gonna say, oh, you know, you gonna feel my wrath. And then the DA was like, oh, are you the boogeyman? And I love that line. Catherine was like, no, I'm worse than the boogeyman. I'm a woman. I was like, come on, go through. She was like, yeah. What did she say? She said something along the lines of, you'll feel my wrath more or way more than any man, let alone the boogeyman or something. So I was like, oh, that was cute. But of course the DA was like, oh, I'm shaking in my boots. So she didn't pay her no mind, but I kind of like that little line. Go ahead, Catherine, for trying. So anyway, so the DA and David walk out, and, you know, the DA was like, I didn't get you out. Maggie Day got you out. Who is she? And then David's like, I'm not about to tell you about my life. Just tell me where my son is. Because, you know, they came and got Jeffrey a little bit before that or whatever. And the DA was like, no, you can't talk to him. He's fine. Just, you know, fall back or whatever. Oh, so then we find out, y'all, that the DA almost slept with David, but David said no. What's up with everybody wanting to sleep with David? Dang. So David was like, that's messed up. How you gonna put that article in my cell or whatever? You know, that's contraband. And once again, she said the line that somebody else said earlier. Oh, Veronica. For them not to like each other, they show saying the same line. The DA was like, this is not prison. This is jail or whatever. You know, the newspaper ain't gonna hurt nobody. So the DA all gloating like, dang, I tried to get with you years ago, but you was so in love with Veronica. And now, look, she cheating on you. So, aha. So, whatever. David was like, bye. He go in to get his property, and Maggie, they all run up to him like she wanted to hug him, but he looking at her like, yeah, fall back, like, why did you do this, like, get me out, not the rest of them, you this and that. He can't even say thank you, because she was like, thank you, because she was like, David was like, what you doing here, and had all these questions, and he was just like, Maggie was just like, yeah, thank you or something, but whatever. So David borrows Maggie's phone. Mind you, he being stank to Maggie and then gonna ask for the phone. She look at him like, oh, like you can't even say thank you. Now you want to use my phone? Just like a nigga. Nah, she didn't say that, but I don't know why I felt like she wanted to say that. But anyway, so David uses the phone to call Mama Rose. Do y'all know people number by heart? I don't know nobody number by. I do not know my husband number by heart. Like, God forbid something happen, I would not know how to call him. The only person I know number by heart is my mom and my grandmother. And my grandma had the same number for like 25 years. And I really just learned my mama phone number like 3 years ago. So I don't know. He know the hit woman's phone number by heart. So he called Mama Rose and was like, hey, did you hear about a hit on my wife? And Mama Rose was like, oh, it ain't nothing with us, but all I know is don't go home. And then he was like, thank you. So I was like, all right, Mama Rose, that was cool. So the DA talking to Jeffrey. The DA tells Jeffrey to testify against his parents and the Criers. And Jeffrey was like, I'm not about to testify against them, but I will testify against my mom. And the DA was fishing, you know why? And then Jeffrey was like, oh, I'm gay and she don't like it, so she used the car to blackmail me. So because of that, you know, I'll testify against her. And he said some interesting line like, I'll testify against her because I love her. Now, I know that don't kind of make sense, but in a sense, I can kind of see that. Like, if your mom is detrimental to you, your father, and technically society, sometimes it is better for certain people to, well, I don't really believe in being locked up, but I kind of can get like sometimes it's better for people to be confined so they won't do harm to themselves or others, and you do that to protect them and others. So I kind of think that that's what Jeffrey meant. So the DA was like, all right, well, you can go then. She saw the blood on his jacket and he was like, he hit a deer or whatever. But I wouldn't have said I hit a deer. I would have said, oh, I was helping pull a deer out the road. Like, I mean, you got immunity, so I guess you could say whatever. But I'm like, Jeffrey, don't make it worse for you. But at least, you know, he was quick on his feet or whatever. So anyway, then the DA gonna press Jeffrey more, like, hey, what you know about Maggie Day and what's up with your parents' marriage? So I'm glad Jeffrey was like, stop baiting me. And earlier she said something like, yeah, I see your mom taught you well, because he used some little legal term. When the DA was asking Jeffrey to testify against the Criers and his dad, and he was like, I don't know anything about that. Anything that they may be involved with should be admissible in court. All we know is that my mom had the car, so I'll testify against her. I was like, come on, Jeffrey, with your little law stuff. Finally, you should have pulled that on a little creepy cop in the back seat. But anyway, so Jeffrey was like, you know, even though he said don't bait me, he still told the T. He was like, my mom treats my dad like crap, and all I know is Maggie Day and my dad been spending a whole bunch of time at Hotel Sarandon, but he said they didn't have sex, but I don't know. I was like, you just told everything, Jeffrey, but whatever. Go ahead, Jeffrey. Go ahead, go home. So, of course, he catch the first cab ride over to his hopefully wannabe one day boo Wyatt house or whatever. So anyway, we back in the hood. Q sister running through the hood, and she finally see old boy who know how to track stuff. So she like, hey, does that sister, am I the only one who think that sister is kind of weird or off? I mean, I guess she off. If she treat all them kids that bad, who in their right mind would do that? But I don't know why she seems so weird to me. Like, she feel, I don't know, it seemed like she on drugs a little bit or something. But whatever. She holler at old boy about Veronica and find out that the hit is worth $10,000. And then she gonna say, I don't like her no way. I'm like, have she ever met Veronica before? And then Veronica got your brother out of jail, so why you hate Veronica? So I was like, that girl is crazy. So anyway, the homie, she gets the homies to bring out a whole box of stolen laptops. I was like, hey, let me get one of those. So anyway, the guy get on the laptop, find out Q is at Candace's house. I think it said Candy Lane. What was her company name? Candy Company. And I was surprised she didn't put it together, but you know, I guess she ain't seen Candace in so long, she probably didn't think of it. So they see that it's a nice neighborhood. So she tell the homie to go steal a car so they could go to the hood. And I'm just like, what? You don't have to have a nice neighborhood to go to the hood. Like, the Neiman Marcus and Palos Verdes, like, I can drive there without being suspicious just because I don't know. Maybe. But I mean, I see people driving through Beverly Hills in buckets, like, because it's a way to, you could be going somewhere else just because you stopped by, but I guess. And hey, your car was there, so, but hey, your car there, it ain't there no more, so maybe she right. I don't know, but I was just like, that's dumb to go steal a car to go find Q, but I guess you don't want to go in your own car, one of the homies' cars, just in case you are being watched. But I don't know. I just thought that was extra. Like, y'all already killing somebody. Y'all already got all these stolen laptops. Then y'all about to steal a car. Like, y'all just get digging yourself in the hole more and more. But we all know that these thugs ain't that smart. So let me get off. Let me stop trying to put logic to the thug life. So Baby Q is sick. We back at the motel, hotel, Holiday Inn, and Baby Q was like, he don't feel good and his stomach hurts. So Hannah, they get dressed. She got on her maid outfit at first, so it seemed like she was gonna go to work. But I'm like, what was you gonna do with Baby Q in the first place? If you had on your maid outfit and go to work, what was you gonna take him with you? And then how was you gonna get there? So she gonna call the cab. Hannah, just 5 hours ago, you was looking in your wallet. You know it's only $8 in there. Well, $9. I had thought it was $8, but later she said $9. So why did you even call a cab? I would have grabbed the baby and got on the bus. Or I would have called Benny. Like, at least get a ride from Benny. You ain't gotta, stay with him or take the car. You don't want to drive the car. At least get a ride. So I'm like, you kind of low-key killing the baby. Really? With your pride, So anyway, she gonna call the cab, and halfway there, she see that it's almost $9, and she was like, I only got $9, sir. And he was like, well, I gotta let you out or whatever. And then so he pull over. Now, was it just me, or it seemed like he was gonna let her out? Like, he didn't turn around, ask for the money. He just looked straight. To me, it seemed like he almost was about to just let her get out, but she the one who gave him the money. So I was like, I would have kept the money, because now how she gonna get on the bus? If she gave him the whole $9, so they get on the bus stop and start waiting for the bus. But I'm like, how y'all gonna pay? But I remember back in the day being kids sometimes. I don't know if we lied about not having the money or we really didn't, and they would let us on, us and the kid, for free. So maybe, but I was like, Hannah's just being extra. Next thing you know, little Quincy passed out on the bus stop, y'all. I'm like, oh no. And then he was like, I need my medicine. My auntie gave it to me. And then Hannah asked him, do you know what it is? And he said no. But at this point, I'm almost convinced that it is crack. Because what kid asks for medicine? Even when kids are sick, like for real, they don't usually be asking for the medicine. So I'm like, is he jonesing a little bit, saying my stomach hurt, he hot, he's sweaty? I'm like, poor Q. Poor baby Q. So, yeah, Jeffrey, y'all. So he back at Wyatt house. Wyatt bringing his luggage down, and Jeffrey knock at the door. He opened the door, and Wyatt just lay on the couch. I'm like, why you do that? Like, you're not going to finish packing, or are you just trying to act cool because Jeffrey here? So Wyatt basically tells him, like, yeah, I'm the one who put your parents in jail. Aren't you happy about it? And he was like, no, this is not good at all. And Jeffrey's like, you pretty much give me no choice to be okay with it because they already in there. So Wyatt like, yeah, your dad and my mom may get out, but the other two, they deserve it or whatever. So Jeffrey not really here for it, but he got so much going on or whatever. So he just hear about the inheritance. He was like, no, you can't do this. It's too much. It's $12 million. You don't need it. And, he getting all irate and stuff. And Wyatt was like, what's wrong with you? First of all, you look crazy. You acting crazy. You should be happy that, I got your mom out of your hair and I'm getting some money. Like, what's going on? So Jeffrey was like, I stabbed. So Jeffrey was about to admit that he stabbed Quincy. But thank goodness there was a knock on the door. And even before the knock on the door, Jeffrey was like, never mind, So it was a knock on the door, and guess who it was? It was Candace. Because earlier, Benny was like, do you know where Jeffrey is? And Candace was like, I think I know where he might be. So I guess she know Jeffrey after all, because, yep, he ran right to Wyatt's house. So anyway, Candace shows up, and, Wyatt mentioned that he was at the police, so Candace get all scared, but Wyatt ended up spilling the beans like, yeah, I hit the little black girl, and I hit your brother, so he was there to get his immunity. So Candace was like, is that right? And Jeffrey was like, yes, or whatever. So then Candace got mad, like, Jeffrey, you knew that he hit my brother, and you didn't tell me this the whole time? I had totally forgot about that, y'all. But, Jeffrey loved Wyatt, so he ain't gonna snitch on his boo. And plus, you know, at first he didn't know for a long time. So I can kind of get it, but I see why Candace is mad. Like, we supposed to be homies. You let me stay with you. Now I'm letting you stay with me. Like, you know how much I love my brother, and you know who hit him, and you didn't say anything. Like, that is kind of messed up. So I understand. But Jeffrey was not here for it. He was like, whatever, Candace. I don't want to see you ever again in life. Ever since I met you, my life been in ruins, which is kind of true. But Candace pointed out, like, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you would have never stepped up to your mother. You would still be in the closet. Like, I helped you. And don't forget, you were an active participant in everything. And when she was saying active participant, she was like bamming him like all the places that Quincy was stabbed to like let him know, like, yeah, you telling me to fall back, but don't forget, like, you technically murdered somebody too, so don't be smelling yourself too much. So yeah, so then Candace was like, all right, I'm gone. And then Wyatt gonna say, oh yeah, by the way, how much you charge for your escort services. Wyatt is so rude. But every time somebody call out Candace for being a hooker, like, she take it with so much like no sweat off her brow. She just looked at him and, like, I think he only had on basketball shorts or something. She was like, yeah, not big enough. So she just took the disc, threw one back, and would twiddle right on out. I was like, all right. So that was that. Yeah, that was pretty much the whole episode. It was actually a pretty good episode, even though it seemed really short. So that was pretty much all that happened. I can't recall anything happening after Candace walked out. I mean, that whole Hannah and the cab thing happened after, but that was pretty much the last scene. So that was the episode. So immunity. So Jeffrey got his immunity and Wyatt got his immunity. But I don't know, y'all. That DA, like I said, I kind of like her as a person or as an actress, but dang, David kind of told you, like, fall back. So I don't know why she pressing so much on the David tip. I can understand her pressing about getting the case, but leave David alone, girl. So anyway, the previews look good. Candace tells Benny that Wyatt hit him. So we'll see how he reacts to that. Because I think they may have met, right? Or maybe not. What else happened in preview? Oh, Mike, Benny's homie, sees Benny with a shovel and lime, like clearly murder burial tools. So he was like, dang, dude, what you up to? But once again, Benny, you blowing it. You was thug life by kind of fixing this whole thing with Candace. But why you gonna go to your job with the murder stuff and let your homie see it? Like, all right, Benny, you falling back off. And then, y'all, it looked like David about to give Maggie the D, y'all. They somewhere. He was like, take your clothes off. I was like, oh. And she just looking like, oh. So, I don't know, y'all, but I don't know. Honestly, if I had to pick between Maggie and the DA, I think I would pick the DA. Because, I don't know. It seemed like since the DA and DA and Veronica have history, I think that would be a little bit more hurtful. Like, oh, like you went to my arch nemesis versus some brand new hoe we just met last year. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And not that I want any man to be cheating, but I'm just saying, you know how Veronica's so mean. Like, she needs something like to knock her off her little soapbox. So I don't know. I kind of think the DA would hurt a little bit more than Maggie, but whatever. So we'll see, you guys. So that was the episode Have and Have Not, season 4, episode 5, titled Immunity. So you know what's up. Give me the thumbs up on this video. Go ahead and check me out on Twitter at TammyB_. All right, you guys. I'll see you in the next review. But guess what? I'm going to Jamaica, y'all. So I actually won't be reviewing next Tuesday because I don't get back till Thursday, so it'll be like 2 days later, and who's to say I watch it when the first day I get back. So I will be missing next week, so I'll probably see you guys the following week. Okay, so you guys enjoy, and I'll probably be tweeting or periscoping from Jamaica, so we'll somewhat be in touch. And then other than that, I'll just be back. All right, you guys, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend, and enjoy your next week. Bye.